What is good, YouTube? Quinway basketball analysis coming to y'all with a quick video. We're going to talk about the Mavericks going up 2-0 on the Los Angeles Clippers, a series that most people thought that the Clippers will win, but they find themselves in an 0-2 hole. Luka Doncic looks amazing. Tim Hardaway looks amazing. Porzingis is finding his stride after having a bad first game. And the Mavericks look as what I thought they would. This is a team that's hard to guard. If you don't pay attention to guys, they can light you up. If they make a couple shots, guys get their ego inflated. And I said all of that coming into the series. But the Clippers have been disappointing all around when it comes to scoring. I expected this team to be as good as we thought that they would be in a regular season. This was the best three-point shooting team basically in the entire NBA, and they had a tough to guard offense just because a lot of these guys can do multiple things when it comes to handling and playmaking. Plus, they can play off the ball. That's what made them unique to be long, lanky, and also have spacing. Serge Ibaka hasn't been able to make an impact on this series, mostly because of his injury. He hasn't looked the same, and I don't think he will be, as this series is already played in 2 games, and they're getting ready for the third. I don't think he would be himself for this series, whether they win it or lose it. Zubac, there's nothing they can really do with him either. He's big, but he's slow, and is not a great offensive player to make up for it. But also, they don't have nothing for him defensively because the Clippers like to switch everything. If they like to switch everything, they either gonna have to go small. But if they go small, they still have to put the ball in the basket. I can't put all the blame on Kawhi Leonard when you get 41 points. I feel like he was a big reason why they lost Game One because a lot of that game was open for somebody to take, and Kawhi Leonard didn't come out there and take it, and it came away with the loss. Paul George, I'm not putting the blame on him. I feel like Paul George hasn't been terrible in this series. Did knock down the threes the way he should, but you can say that about the whole team. Reggie Jackson came in and showed up. He scored a lot of points, had a bad game one, had a better game two, but pretty much that was it for this team. Not too many guys contributed. Not too many guys scored. Not too many guys defended at a high level, and that's what they're going to need. The Mavericks is no slouch. They have been a pretty good team for the last couple of weeks, and they have continued that against the Clippers. The Clippers, they're going to have to figure out how to get back to themselves, moving the ball, finding the open guys, and dominating mismatches and switches. And if they're not going to be able to convert those threes, if they're not going to be able to convert those twos that they take, they're going to have to switch up their philosophy or get to the paint more, and that could be a problem too because a lot of their guys aren't the greatest finishers either. So they're in a tough predicament, but they wanted to play the Mavericks. They got it. Now they got to deal with it. If they get put out in the first round, isn't you can't blame one person. You got to blame everybody. Last year they blamed Montrez. Last year they blamed Doc Rivers. Now they got Paul George and Kawhi Leonard with a new supporting cast and a new coach, and they might not even get as far as they was last year. So that just lets you know changing your entire roster for 2 players may not be the greatest idea if they don't deliver. They still got a shot. They still got a chance because the series is not over, but they're going to have to step it up all across the board, not just Paul George and Kawhi Leonard. The whole team needs to step up on both ends of the court, be more smarter, be more disciplined, be more aggressive, and look to tie the series up at worst in the next 2 games. Um, Next, I definitely touch on the Suns game. Chris Paul was the biggest X factor because we just didn't know how he was going to be and how he was going to play. He only played 23 minutes. They still had a shot to win this game. LeBron and AD stepped up and finished it off. AD hits a big three. LeBron hits a big three. Cameron Payne and them was able to get back in it to give themselves a chance. That's all you can hope for when you're down by 15. Just couldn't get it done. Devin Booker had his 30. DeAndre Ayton had his 20 and 10. Cameron Payne filled in the best way he could for Chris Paul, but there's no replacing Chris Paul. I had Chris Paul as an All-Star. I had Chris Paul as an All-NBA player this year, and there's no replacement for that. And they're going to have to figure out a way to attack this Lakers defense consistently. If they don't, they can find themselves in tough grind out games where it doesn't favor them to win because they don't have their other closer. And when you don't have your other closer, Devin Booker's going to have to do more, send a double team, send a trap at him. You can get the ball out of his hands. Other guys gonna have to make plays, make shots. If you're the Lakers, you will live with it. But I like the energy, I like the fight, I like the hustle, and I like the attack of the Suns so far in this series. They're not in a tough situation. They're 1-1, and they still was able to be competitive even in a game two without Chris Paul playing even half the game because he didn't even play 24 minutes. So if I was them, I'd keep my head up, keep rocking, and see what happens next. Another thing I wanted to talk about was the Philly Washington series so far, and it has been a defensive lockdown. The Wizards, if they're not getting up and down the court, they can't find consistent offense. Russ still struggles to score the ball because he's not a great shooter, and if he's not getting to the rim, his pull-up game, even his signature pull-up, isn't consistent. Even if he tries to bank it in, so it's kind of tough for them to get consistent offense if he's not being aggressive, and if he's aggressive, not making shots, you're in a tough situation. Bradley Beal, he's going to get his 30. I think we all know that. He takes enough shots, gets enough opportunities, gets enough touches, and he's going to get the number just sheer that they need him to. That's why I felt like that he would be the scoring champion this year. Obviously, didn't happen, but he's going to have to get 30 plus just to get this team a chance to even be in contention to beat Philly, as they are the better team. They are the better defensive team, and they already got to make up a lot of difference with Russ and Bradley Beal just not having enough. Rui is going to have to score 20 points a game. Can he do it? I don't know, but he's going to have to pick it up. Bertans, he has had moments throughout the season, throughout the series, but he's going to have to be more consistent. They paid him a lot of money because of what he did last year. He hasn't even came close to doing it this year. That's a loss of an investment so far, but he's going to have to hit 4 or 5 threes at least one game just to keep them in contention with Philly. Ben Simmons has found ways to attack. He's getting out in transition. He's posting up a little bit more, getting closer to the basket. So all he has to do is lay it in. Joel Embiid looks like Joel Embiid defending the realm, contesting without fouling with verticality and getting his fadeaways and his touches in the paint, and pretty much been unstoppable against this Wizard team when he's been on the court. I also look at their other guy, Danny Green, Seth Curry, has been solid for them because they just do the simple play, make the simple shot. And honestly and truthfully, that's all they have to do, and they're good in that role. Tobias, hopefully, he can stay healthy, but he has been the offensive force that they needed him. They needed that third scorer that can give them 20 to 25, and it looked like Tobias might be able to do that in this series because everybody that they put on him is either small or can't really, bother his shot enough because they have to put the other guys on other people, and then if they put him on Tobias, he can just switch and get the guy that he want and just torch him, and they have that at their advantage. We knew that Wizards wasn't a great defensive team, and Ben Simmons and them are doing what they want. George Hill has been a solid defender, also has hits shots and layups and jumpers off the dribble. They needed him to be a little bit more than what they've been getting out of him through the season, and he's been showing that he can still give you a little offensive contribution. And they needed it. Every point counts. Every possession matters in the playoffs, and Philly has made more valuable ones than the Wizards. I predicted that the Wizards would get swept, and it could possibly be true. We will have to find that out, as this team could, run it up on you if you let them do it. But Philly seems like they're figuring it out. They're playing at their pace. They're slowing down the Wizards, and they're making them attack them in the half court. The Wizards don't have enough half court players to really punish the Sixers, especially if Russ is not going to make shots consistently. And if he's not, Bradley Beal is going to have to go G. That's not a winning formula. They found that out the last 2 years. So somebody's going to have to step up. Will it be Bertans? Will it be Rui? Will it be Ish Smith? Somebody's going to have a big game for them to take down the team that Philly is on both ends of the court. And even then, will that be enough for the Wizards to win the game? We shall find out, and we shall see. Other than that, I'll come back with the Utah Jazz versus the Memphis Grizzlies tomorrow. I also will be covering the Knicks Hawks game tomorrow and the first game on tomorrow. I'll try to cover all three of those and give you my playoff reactions as we see what happens with them later on the day. And the first game tomorrow, I'll be at home. So other than that, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day. These are my reactions. And now we're going to see who gets to go up 3-0, 2-0, and see who possibly could sweep. May even be the Clippers getting swept, and nobody would have thought that. But they're in a situation where a team playing with a head of steam and coming at them, and they haven't been able to respond the way we thought they would. Other than that, I'm gone.